It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You are knowing what you are wanting. Yes. You are enjoying the evolution of your desire. You are feeling the power of your desire, the importance of it. We want you to feel the importance of your desire, your leading edge place. We want you to feel the point of focus that this physical personality that is you provides for all that is. We want you to feel the importance of the contrasting environment in which you live, which helps you to focus. And we want to help you to feel what we mean with the word focus, because while focusing can mean studying something, concentrating on it, deliberately holding your attention upon something, that certainly would be called focusing. When we use the word focusing, what we really mean is life experience that you are living causes to be born within you preferences. And each of those preferences, whether you ever speak about it or not, is a focused energy. Now, many of you are coming to realize consciously that we are all a part of this vibrational universe. And even though you see yourselves here in these bodies more as physical beings and not so much as spirit, even though you are all of that, whether you are spirit or whether you are physical embodiment of spirit, you are still vibrational beings. And the vibration is the part of you that we want most to accentuate here today and to activate consciously within you, because we all live in this vibrational universe. And when you understand that you are vibration and you begin to think about the laws that manage vibration, then you can relax into a clear understanding of why every single thing that happens to you or anybody else does. Then and only then do you gain your conscious creative control of your physical experience. And only then do you add to this time-space reality in the fulfilling sense that you intended when you decided to come forth into this body to begin with. You said from your non-physical vantage point, which, by the way, still exists, even though you are physically focused, I will go forth, I will funnel focus into my human experience. I will allow myself to integrate and interact with many others, and in the process of doing so, I will determine at all levels of my being preference. Desires will be born within me, and they will emanate from me whether I ever speak about it or not. And as they emanate, there is a personal asking that has taken place that will be answered every time, no exceptions. Now, we want to remind you that this was going on a long while before you funneled you into you. In other words, long before the you that you think of as you is you, the you that you don't so often think of that is you, that is really us, was aware of the you that you were becoming. And so all of this energy and all of these experiences, both physical and non-physical, that have been taking place even before the focus that is you was focused into that which is you. Can you feel the power of the stream? Can you feel the pre-paving that has been done? Can you feel the requests for well-being that have been spoken even before you were in this body that now are serving you? In other words, this is the stream of well-being. It is the current of well-being upon which you all ride. So here you are now, still contributing to the stream, still specifying with deliberate clarity or accidental default. There's no accident, but sometimes you're offering energy and you don't even know you're doing it, so we would not exactly call that deliberate creation. But here you are offering your perspectives, adding to the mix your desires, framing up the specifics of that which you are living, but also setting into motion that which will be the stream of well-being that will carry the masses that will follow you. Now, we give all this to you by way of explaining to you something that many of you have forgotten that we want so much for you to remember, and that is a stream of well-being beyond any ability to describe it in words exists and is for your benefit. Well-being wants you. Well-being is the only stream that exists. Well-being is the current from which you are born and the current which supplies, supports that which you are. So, as you try to feel a little bit this stream of well-being, then you must conclude, as we so powerfully understand, that only well-being exists, but you might pinch yourself off from it a little bit. That only wellness is offered, but you might not allow it, and you might experience a diminished experience from that. That abundance abounds, and you might be allowing the fullness of it to flow through your experience, or you might be pinching it off, and you might be experiencing shortage. You can experience shortage of well-being. You can experience shortage of dollars and shortage of health, just like you could put a pillow over your face and experience shortage of air. But it's not normal. It is not who you are. It is not what you intended. And we promise you, life experience was not about coming forth into these bodies and trying to figure out how to get the pillow off your face. Well-being abounds, and if you hadn't learned how to put the pillow on your face, which is causing the shortage of oxygen, you wouldn't now be clamoring to try to figure out how to get it off. And what we want to help you to feel is that it is simple to get it off. It belongs off. Well-being is the order of your experience. And today we're going to talk at great length from a lot of different directions with a lot of different people about how to release any resistance that you've picked up along your physical trail, which is the only thing that could possibly be hindering you and keeping you from that which you really want on any subject that is important to you. Everything that you want has been lined up for you. And your ability to decipher your personal preference of it means that it must come to you, means that the universe is cued, all things are in place, you are supposed to get what you want. And you will receive it, provided you put yourself in the vibrational place of letting it in. So through the years, many of you have been listening to us for a while, and you've been hearing us talking about positive or negative emotion. And many of you have the sense that the better you feel, the better it is. The better you feel, the better you are doing. And we see you, many of you, powerful students and teachers of deliberate creation. We want to talk to you in a different way today because we want you to, since you are teachers of teachers who are teachers of teachers, and since there are so many in your experience who want to be deliberate creators, they want to feel good, they would if they could, we want to help you to understand that wherever you are is just fine. We want you to understand that you can get to wherever you want to be from wherever you are. And it's time for all of you to stop measuring where you are in relationship to where anybody else is, because that is not a factor that has anything to do with you. The only factor that has anything to do with you is where you are in relationship with where you want to be. So here you are in the state of depression. And you'd like to jump over here to ecstasy. You remember being there from time to time, but something has happened and you can't make the jump. And no matter how much encouragement you get from people who think you should be able to make that jump, you cannot make that jump because law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn. And when something has happened that has caused you to focus in a way, that has caused you to beat a vibrational drum so that that's where you are, you don't have access to those bright, fluffy, sunshine, lollipop and roses thoughts. You just don't. And what we want you to hear and feel from us here today is that's all right. It's all right wherever you are because you can get to wherever you want to be from wherever you are. You just can't make the jump all at once. So here you are in your very strong, suffocating, can't get a breath of air grief. And then you find something. You don't even really know how you found it. You find a thought that as you find it, is a thought of intense anger. And as you focus upon this angry thought, a thought that you would not want to verbalize because your lollipop friend will jump all over you if you do, don't you acknowledge that that angry thought is an improvement over that suffocating, disempowering, grieving thought? And can you hear us when we say that if you take that angry thought and you just milk it for all it's worth, you beat the drum of that angry thought, and then you consciously acknowledge, hey, at least I'm breathing again. I feel better. Can you hear from us that you have just regained your power? Because if you can move from depression to anger and consciously know that you did it, you can move from wherever you are to wherever you want to be. But so often what has been happening to so many of you is you have unconsciously, even subconsciously, found in a sort of self-survival way the angry thought because you're being guided to it from your beloved source energy. But because it wasn't sunshine, lollipop, and roses enough for your standards or somebody else's standards, you did not see it as the progress that it was, and then you condemned yourself for not having done better, in which case you moved right back into your depression. So you move from where you are to a little better to where you are to where a little better to where you are to a little better, but nothing gets any better. And then you feel stuck, you feel powerless, and we want to say to you that you are such powerful beings. It's who you are. That feeling of freedom and that feeling of power. And we want to say to you, the ultimate freedom is the acknowledgement that you are free from that awful feeling of disempowerment. In other words, freedom and power are the same thing. You are free to feel good. And the most disempowering feeling in the world is that feeling that you can't control the way you feel. And that's what all fear is about. You fear that you will not be able to feel good, which you know is the way you're supposed to feel. So your vibrational emotional meter is all about that. So now you've moved from your depression into your blessed anger. And if you are in control of yourself and you consciously say, I feel better, I've chosen an angry thought and it is an improvement, now you can begin the new mantra which we are wanting you to continually offer, which is, no matter where I am, I'm going to reach for the best feeling thought that I have access to. Now, that's a little departure from what you've been hearing from us and some others who say follow your bliss. And do not misunderstand. We think following your bliss is the best decision that any of you could ever make. But when somebody says follow your bliss, when you don't have access to anything other than agony, it's not very good advice. But when you say to yourself, well, I might be following my bliss, but I might have a few stop-off points along the way, such as rage and infuriating anger and frustration beyond description and aggravation and overwhelmment and hopefulness and pessimism and optimistic pessimism and pessimistic optimism and optimism and belief and knowing. I may take a few stop-offs on the way, but friends, you got to let go of one thing. Before any of this will work for you, you got to stop caring what anybody else thinks about where you are. It has to matter only to you how you feel. You have to take the life-giving breath that you find in that blessed anger, and you have to feel proud of yourself for having made the jump, no matter how small it is. Because once you do that, you've regained control. And once you've regained control, there's no place you can't go.